Hi, welcome back to the cottage. Come on in. In 2021, we found and purchased this cottage home that was originally built in 1910 that had tons of character, but you had to look past a lot of its issues to really see the beauty. You had to look past the falling down rooms and add-ons and layers of new flooring that had been added on to the original pine floors, to heavily divided rooms that really didn't have a flow for the way that we live 100 years later. So I spent the next 2.5 to 3 years pouring all of my love, energy, design ideas, arm strength into turning this cottage home into a beautiful place to live. And I learned a ton about renovation, remodeling, building, dealing with contractors, but I actually did the majority of the work on this cottage myself, from tearing down walls and salvaging everything that I possibly could to be reimagined back into a new floor plan, to refinishing the floors and adding the design and character back into it that had been covered up or taken away. Now, 4 years later, I'm so proud of all of the progress, all of the design, how it's coming together, all of the salvaging and love that I've poured into it, and it's time to officially get back to renovations. We took a little bit of a break because we really wanted to start a family, and 8 months ago, I gave birth to our beautiful baby boy. So now I'm feeling confident and comfortable and strong again to really get back to renovations and work through the rest of the spaces. So let me give you a tour of what it looked like before, what we have done and what we still need to finish, and where we're gonna start. Welcome to the entryway. You're standing at the front door. This is what you would see right when you walked into the cottage. And two things that I loved about this house when I first walked in that actually took my breath away was that it had 12-foot high ceilings and it had all of this amazing trim work, all of the wainscoting, like layers and layers of trim. So I wanted to salvage it. But what I didn't like about this entryway originally is that it became its own quite large room. It would be wasted space for us. And also it created a divide between all of the rest of the rooms. Now, I didn't want a completely open concept home. I don't like that either, but I wanted kind of a hybrid. So I wanted to take down and reconfigure the side walls as much as I could in order to create somewhat of an open concept, but still keeping things a little bit more tucked away. The room off to the right, I wanted it to be our living room, but it meant that I needed to completely take down the deep wall that was separating the foyer from the living room. Now, it was no easy feat taking this wall down. It was quite deep, and it actually had the brick still in the ceiling from the old chimneys and old heating system that they used to have in the home. We needed to remove all of that. So we got all of that down, removed the wall, and I salvaged every bit of that wall, from all of the pretty entryway trim, the doors from the closet. So by taking the wall down, it created this beautiful open entryway and living room area. I've done a ton of work in the living room, as you can see. I built out the entire back wall. It used to have one window in the center. The window didn't look at anything. So I wanted to build it out and make a beautiful focal point for the space. So I built out the fireplace wall myself, added a plaster texture to it, built bookshelves on each side because I love collecting things when I go to flea markets and estate sales and just collecting old books and just special things that I come across. And I really wanted a great way to display those, and it creates this beautiful focal wall. We did do some reconfiguring of the windows and doors in this room. They had a second front door that we're not sure about. We have an idea of what it was used for, but we're not completely sure. And then it just had 3 windows. I knew that I wanted a back patio and access from the living room to the back patio. So we made a big opening and put 2 French doors here in the space and put windows all along the front of the house. And adding the 2 windows on the front of the house allowed so much more sunlight to pour into the space, which is really what I wanted because we were removing that 1 window on the back wall. This room is 98% complete actually. I have a few things that I need to do, like finish out the inside of the fireplace, put these 2 corner pieces on the brick hearth. I need to add some hardware to the storage that's underneath the bookshelves. Finish out the little details on this door. Like it needs handles and I need to stain the threshold. And we need to decorate. It is decorated to a certain extent, but not really. It's really just the bookshelves. I have new chairs that are going here that I'm gonna have recovered that I found. I need to put art and something beautiful on this wall. It's missing something. I need something here. And like intentional window treatment. These are temporary just for privacy and I just tie them up like this when I want more sunlight to come in. But I want to put a rod and really pretty curtains on this wall. I feel like a pattern would be really beautiful in here just to add some more character. So I want to select a pattern that's going to tie in nicely with like the pattern in the rug and things because I think this space can support it. I also want to put something on each side of the opening on this side. Already I love this living room. We kept all of the original trim work. The doors are original to the house. I just repurposed them in a new way, in a new spot. I DIY'd this whole wall myself using salvaged beadboard from the original bathroom. The brick on the hearth is actually salvaged brick from the chimneys that we dropped in the ceiling so they were original to the house and I wanted to reuse them in some way. All of the hardwood floors are original. I just had to spend weeks, if not months, scraping up the vinyl linoleum flooring that they had put on top. Oh, it was a process. And then sand it down, and then I loved the original color, so we decided to keep it and just seal it. So just a little bit more decorating and the new chairs will really take the design of this space up a notch. Since all of the original trim work was so beautiful in this entryway, I wanted to keep this opening with the transom window and the side lights on each side. I loved this and I wanted to create a new entryway. So I created an entryway beyond this opening. This space used to be a sleeping porch. It was falling down, it was sinking. None of the windows would close right. So that was one of the spaces that we demoed off. So the entryway is actually the start of our new addition on the new foundation, a concrete foundation. I love this being an entryway. And since we were losing a closet that was right about here in the original foyer, I just moved it behind the door. It's the original door. It had a broken piece of glass and I DIY'd this glass piece to be like frosted, similar to the old one, and I don't love it. I actually think that I want to swap this out to just be like a textured piece of glass because I feel like this being like a floral pattern and this floral piece of art are fighting each other. And I need to add the hardware and also stain the transom window that's above it. So there's a transom window over this door because it was an attempt to keep a design consistency through the whole house. Since I was reusing every door that was in the original cottage, they were all different. They were all different sizes, widths, heights, everything. So if I was to use them again, it would all feel very random. So to keep a design consistency, I made the openings all the same height, 104 inches tall, and I added transom windows above each door that were all different sizes. So that kept all the openings the same, so it didn't feel so like all your doors were all different heights all through the house. Just a little more work on this door and the entryway is done. So this was the left side of the foyer. So it actually had a solid center wall and two doors or two entryways to two different rooms on each side. And I wanted to flip that. I wanted to take the two doors on each side and make them a single opening in the center and build out a beautiful kitchen. But I kept the entrance as an opening rather than taking down the whole wall. It made it feel a little bit more separated, a little bit more like its own space, but still having somewhat of an open concept. Like we could look from the kitchen to the living room without feeling like when we're in the kitchen, we're also in the living room. So welcome to the kitchen that used to be a bathroom with 3 doors. Very weird bathroom. It was a very odd thing. I demoed the bathroom down and I saved every bit of beadboard that was on the walls to use for various projects, like the bookshelves in the living room and the ceiling in the dining room, because a portion of this space had beadboard ceilings and then the dining room didn't. So we used it for the ceiling, the bookshelves, and also the coffee pantry that I'll show you. So once we got the bathroom out of the way, we could officially start designing the kitchen. So since we were taking down the 2 side walls that made the bathroom, we needed to add some support up top so that it could support a larger opening span. I DIY'd this island myself, actually using salvaged porch posts from our original porch. The porch was falling down as well. The posts were rotting along the bottom, but there were portions of them that were still good. So I used them as the legs of our island to kind of bring some of that inside. And for the top of the island, I found this really pretty granite that had a lot of movement and a lot of character. And I knew I wanted a stove and oven that had some vintage and character to it, so we picked this oven from Hallman. It was originally supposed to come in stainless steel, and when it arrived, it was antique white. And we don't know what happened, how, where it got lost in translation. I ended up loving it. I think it was kind of a happy accident that it came in the wrong color, but it did make us change the color of our sink. So we originally had a pure white sink, but I changed it to a biscuit color so that it complemented the two together and it looked like it wasn't a mistake. I also DIY'd our hood, and these windows on each side were a very intentional design aspect of this kitchen. In the original foyer and entryway, to the right, there was this big opening that had this beautiful trim, this beautiful beadboard that was stained pretty. It was a very deep set opening because it had closets on each side. And I wanted to take that idea and put it somewhere in the house, do something like that, at paying kind of like homage to that entry. And so I thought about building out these boxed windows in the kitchen that aren't boxed. They don't actually stick out of the house. I actually built the wall inside the house. So we were gonna be losing a little bit of kind of square footage in our kitchen, but it was so worth it. And I used all of that original trim work that was in that opening. I think they add so much character to the space that I was kind of starting with a blank slate. I needed to add the character back in. I DIY'd all of the cabinetry from scratch in the space myself. I built the boxes, I did all of the doors, I painted everything myself. Really only one section of the kitchen that still needs to be done, and that's this side right here. This was a larger cabinet that I wanted to add to be like pretty storage, to have glass doors. So I need to build all of this out and put the drawers underneath. I've already completed the doors and put the glass in actually, so you can imagine it's gonna kind of look like that. Once we get it all built out with the face frames and stuff, it'll be really pretty, and I'll be able to have it for my prettier dishware, like my prettier serving things, prettier glasses. And off to the right of the kitchen is the dining room, kind of tucked in the front of the house. I really like that it felt separated but still open, like that hybrid open concept still. And it's a great size. It accommodates a seating for 8. The shape of this room is actually identical and the same, but instead of having one window in the front of the house, I made it 2 because I had an extra salvaged window from the living room and I wanted to make it double to really fill out the space and again, let in more sunlight. I'm big on sunlight. I love having sunlight. We added the beadboard ceiling to this space as well because I wanted it to match with the kitchen and the back door area to all be really consistent. This room is pretty much done. I have a little bit of caulking that I need to do along the crown molding at the top and a little piece in between the windows that I need to fix. And actually, I am gonna be doing one particular project in here that I think is really gonna take the design to the next level. And it's been something that I've been thinking about doing for years. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I was on the fence about it, but I think it definitely needs it. But I'm not gonna tell you what it is. It's gonna be a surprise. But I think it definitely needs it to take the design to the next level. On the other side of the kitchen, I made this into like our back door pantry, coffee pantry area. And it still needs pretty much all the work. I've done very minimal in it. I've just kind of started to build out our coffee pantry, but just because I needed to have the stone countertop installed. Nothing really like, oh, this is actually kind of finished. So we have to build out the pantry, get some organization in there. I have to build out the coffee pantry, really like pretty. I also add some organization. I want to do this shelf up top where the old chimney is. I wanted to keep the old chimney because I just thought it was special and unique and different. But I want to do like a shelf so that I can put like pretty decor up there. So once you come through the new entryway, you go down the hallway And this leads to the bedrooms, the bathrooms, the laundry area, more storage, closets, things like that. And these rooms are a combination of the original 1910 house and also our new addition that we added on. The first room you come to is the guest bedroom. Two things before I show you. One, it has become my storage area, so I apologize for the mess. It's been through things, and you kind of just need that junk room when you're renovating where all your stuff goes out of the way. And two, it's a very, very large guest bedroom. And I haven't gone through this stuff since being back. This is the last room that I kind of need to tackle and assess what the stuff is, what I need to do with it. But essentially this room needs pretty much everything. The only thing that we've done in here is we've laid the new floor and we've stained it to match the original kind of hardwood throughout the house. That's it. It needs door frames. It needs window trim. It needs doors to the closet. We need to build up the closet. It needs design elements. It needs a pretty light. It needs everything. It's gonna be one of the last rooms I tackle, I believe, because it's the one that we need the least. When we bought the cottage, it was just over 1,600 square feet, but the ceilings were so tall that it felt so big. It felt like a big 1,600 square foot house, especially when we started to kind of open it up a little bit and we had more flow throughout the house and the floor plan. And then once we calculated all of the rooms that were in really poor shape, that were falling down, that needed to be restructured and everything, we removed about 900 square feet. So that brought it around like 700 square feet. That was the original T-shaped folk Victorian cottage. And then we wanted to add that square footage that we had taken off onto it. So we brought it up to just under 2,000 square feet, the whole house. And I think in hindsight, I've done one thing differently, and that would have been to add 3 bedrooms instead of just 2. I think I was so stuck on the way that the old house was, and it was a 2-bedroom house, that I was adding a bathroom. It was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath house, but I wasn't really adding that extra bedroom, and I think it would have added greatly to the property value. And now that obviously we don't want to have 2 kids, I think it would have been a great addition. Heading out of the guest bedroom, you go into the guest bathroom. And the guest bathroom is actually one of the first spaces we tackled because we needed a bathroom in the cottage to use when we were moving in. And the guest bathroom was easier to tackle than the larger primary bathroom. It was originally the kitchen. So portions of the hallway and also this bathroom was originally the kitchen. It had lower ceilings. It was only 10-foot ceilings, and it was on a sloped, it had like a sloped roof because it was an add-on that they had put onto the original house, but it was in great condition, so I wanted to keep it. And I liked that it was just quirky and shaped differently with a sloped roof. I liked all of that. So I kept the general shape, kept the hardwood floors that were already existing, and just turned it into a bathroom. I love it. You see hardwood floors a lot in older bathrooms, but obviously it's not ideal like today, but I just made sure to seal it really well. And also underneath the clawfoot tub, this is a vintage clawfoot tub that I had refinished. It used to be blue. Underneath the clawfoot tub and up the walls, I did this penny tile. And I wanted a contrasting color to add some warmth and depth to it. So I went with like a dusty chocolate grout on the penny tile in contrast to it being neutral. I thought it added so much like visual texture to the space too. And I wanted a combination of light and dark walls. So I opted for like a light warm beige for the majority of the walls, and then in contrast picked like a chocolatey pink color to go behind this big cabinetry and up onto the ceiling. This space is almost done as well. I'd say it's in the 90% done. I need to perfect the crown molding in this space because it's very tricky. Crown molding on its own is very tricky, especially when you add in that the ceiling is sloped. It adds a whole nother angle and trying to figure out if I was failing constantly trying to figure it out, so I kind of abandoned the project, but I need to revisit it. And also I need to finish this cabinet. I built this cabinet from scratch, and I used some old legs that I found at the flea market, and I wanted this kind of hutch design. I wanted it to be reminiscent of a hutch because I couldn't find a antique or vintage hutch that I really liked that was big enough, because this alcove is actually pretty large. But what it's missing is a top. I wanted like a pretty decorative top and also glass doors. Also found this old phonograph cabinet that I restored and took the top off so that I could turn it into a vanity. As you come out of the guest bathroom, you continue down the hallway, and the hallway itself needs a lot of work. We haven't really prioritized it as well because it's the hallway. It needs to be painted, it needs crown molding, it needs baseboards, and maybe a little bit of decor here and there, like art, I think would really be all it really needs. So a fairly simple project, I would say, you know, like when you think about just like crown molding, baseboards, paint, and a few pieces of art, that could be a pretty simple project to get it completed, so that won't take very long. But right outside the bathroom is this little alcove that was really just an attempt to utilize every square foot of this house for some purpose. I didn't want any dead area. So I made this little 2 foot by 2 foot square facing the hallway. And I felt like it was a perfect place to do a linen closet. It's right off of the bathroom. It's right across from the laundry room, which I'll show you. I felt like it would be great for extra bedding, towels, things like that to have a place. And then across from the little linen closet is our laundry room. It is not done, but it is functioning. We do have a functioning washer and dryer in here, but it's not built out at all. Storage to do, maybe a countertop above the washer and dryer, maybe a rod to like hang things as they come out of the wash and the dryer, you know, like just things. I did do the floors though, and it's a herringbone porcelain tile. I prioritized the floor so that we could actually get the washer and dryers in here and use the room without it being like fully designed. So it needs everything. It needs doors. It needs the whole thing. And then at the end of the hallway, you get to the primary suite. So the primary bedroom, the primary bathroom, closets. So I have some really amazing ideas for this suite. I also have 2 beautiful doors, making French doors, to enter the suite. They're not original to the house because we actually needed a few more doors, but they are salvaged. They're beautiful. And they have just like some rustic charm. So once you enter through those doors, you enter the primary bedroom first. It is not done. It needs everything. It needs a lot. We do have a bed. We do have some of the trim up. I also have removed, I took down that window. It wasn't perfect for me. So I took it down and I'm repairing it actually. So I just have it closed up for now. That's why there's plywood there. I've laid the pine wood flooring through this space because this is a new addition. So it was concrete underneath. Dried in, it has windows and it has doors, these beautiful reclaimed doors over here, and some trim work around the windows, but that's it. It needs crown molding, baseboards, design, decor, a dresser, all the things that a bedroom could need. I want a pretty light, if I don't have one already, I can't remember, a pretty light chandelier to be in here. None of the closets are built out as well, so we just have some temporary racks for our clothes here. And this is a really great size walk-in closet that also needs everything. It's not done out. I haven't even put, just the recessed lights are not even in. But when this is done, it's gonna be a great closet for probably Romeo and I to share. Originally in this suite, I had planned for 2 closets, and I'll show you where it is. The second closet was gonna be mine, but I don't think that we need it, and I think it could be better used as something else. So off the bedroom, you enter the primary bathroom. It is going to be a very pretty space when it's done. Have been some things that we've done in here. I did lay the herringbone porcelain tile floor in here in preparation for our countertops to go in, but they still need some work. I still need to grout them, and I need to perfect the vanity that's in here. This room needs a lot of work. Kitchens and bathrooms are the 2 spaces that need a ton of work, but the foundation's here. I mean, all the electrical is run, the plumbing is run, the drains are here, the toilet is in and functioning. But it's just a matter of doing all of those extra design details. So it's essentially a blank room right now. So we need to add in all of that character, add in all of that detail. So this space is gonna have a separate shower and bathtub moment. I wanted a beautiful clawfoot bathtub here with the old salvaged windows that we salvaged from the hot tub room or the sleeping porch. One or the other. I got these 4 windows. So we put 3 side by side here, and then 1 at the back of the bathroom to let in sunlight from that side of the house. So back here is where we have the shower and the toilet area. So it's a little more private back here, which I liked. I wanted there to be some separation between those 2 things. and the rest of the bathroom. So lots of projects, lots of fun things to do in this bathroom, and I'm happy to announce that this is where we're gonna start. I wanna tackle this bathroom first. I feel like there's so much to do that I want to start chipping away at this room and have an actual functioning bathroom back here, because I have a lot of ideas and I want to see them come to life. So I'm very excited, so get excited. If you're not subscribed, subscribe so you can see the series. I'm going to do kind of a mini series on this bathroom because there's so much that needs to be done. Like, please ignore that this cabinet vanity is green. That needs a whole overhaul. A lot of tiling. I have to build up the whole shower. And this little linen closet needs everything. It needs storage. It needs the door that I found for this area, which is gonna be beautiful. It needs trim, crown molding, baseboards, tile, mirrors, lighting, just to name a few. Doors. It has no doors. Like, it needs a lot. And then right off this little linen closet in the bathroom, I had designed my closet. So this is a whole nother room, which would be an amazing size walk-in closet with a window. So this space is not done yet. I've just kind of had it in my head that it would have been a closet, and I wanted to put a window in it because I love getting ready in natural sunlight, and I wanted my vanity to be in here too so that I could get ready in the mornings. But I have said over the years of me wanting to have a baby and us wanting to start a family that it would be really beautiful as a nursery. And so I think that that's what we're gonna do. It does need egress, so we'll figure that part out. It doesn't have kind of an escape route if we would need it to be. Sweet and beautiful with the natural sunlight, I think it's gonna be like the perfect space. So we just need to figure some things out and design the nursery. And then the nursery will be part of our primary suite. So you can see that the back portion of the house is really where the majority of the work needs to be done. Throughout the renovation, I've prioritized rooms that are based on how we live. What do we need the most? Where do we spend the most time? And that for us was in those front rooms. And for our outside spaces, for the front patio, we've actually done quite a bit of work on it, but there's still more to do. I'd say it's like 50% complete. My goal with the front patio was to rebuild it exactly like it was before, just with good materials, not rotten materials. We had to completely demolish the front patio and start over and rebuild because it was sinking and it wasn't structurally sound. So we did that, we rebuilt it. It's got a new roof on it. We have new porch posts and a new deck. So we've done all of that work already, but I still need the design to look like it did previously. So I have railings and spindles that I want to recreate that same kind of design and paint the railings, paint the ceiling, and decorate. So it's coming along, but it's not quite there. So I'd say it's about 50%. And we've done some work in the front yard as well. My dad actually built us a beautiful iron fence for the front, and we had some rock columns built when we did our fireplace outside in rock. We're working on a gate design, and I paved a walkway up to the front patio. So we've done some, but it's still a work in progress. The back patio is going to be probably the very, very, very last thing that we tackle because it's actually my workshop. As soon as I'm done with all of the other projects, we're gonna tackle the patio because it needs a really pretty ceiling, and I have a few ideas for out here, but I haven't thought too much into it. But the back patio is a great size. I did make it the entire length of the rest of the house on the new addition. So I think it could be really cool. If there weren't so many mosquitoes here, it would be great. Quick update on the property as a whole. If you have been following since the beginning, you'll know that I wanted to create these guest cottages in the back to turn them into vacation rentals. And I was actually going to live in one of the smaller ones while I renovated the main house. But because we bought this cottage home during the pandemic, it was really hard to get any tradesmen and workers out here to work. So I put that whole project on pause to revisit at another time. So we don't have any plans to do that right now, but never say never. We may in the future, and I definitely have some floor plans and some things that I've collected for it, but our main focus is finishing the main cottage. So I hope you guys enjoyed the tour of the cottage and what we have done, what we still need to do. And if you have been along for the ride of the cottage renovation over the last few years, thank you so much for being here. I know so many of you guys are just as invested and passionate about this cottage as I am, and it makes me so happy. Or if you're new here and this is the first time you're finding me, I have a complete series on YouTube. It's got at least 60 or 70 videos of truly from the start of purchasing this house. So if you've missed any of them, I have them in a complete playlist. I also have tons more videos over on my vlog channel, which is a completely separate channel that you can check out as well, so that you're all caught up. And we're officially starting in the bathroom, which I'm really excited about. It's a big space. It's a big space to tackle. It's got a lot of DIY projects that we need to do in it and work through, and I'm gonna be doing it all myself and with the help of Romeo, of course. After taking a break to have a baby, it's gonna be very interesting in how my body responds to the work. I mean, even just cleaning this cottage to prep for this video was a lot of work. It took a lot out of me, but I'm very excited to get back to the renovation and actually finish the cottage this year. This was a huge passion project for me, and I want to see it completed, and I want to see it in all of its beauty and glory, and just have it come to life in that way, because what we've done so far is so beautiful. So I can't wait to see those additional spaces come to life. So join me. If you're not subscribed already, hit the subscribe button and the little bell notification so that you know exactly when I upload. Here on my main channel, every other Sunday, you'll see new videos, and then multiple videos in between over on my blog channel. So you'll know where to find me. I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday, and I'll see you guys really soon for the next one. Bye guys. I wish I would have had the fireplace turned on for you guys, but we're having our gas lines worked on because they were changing out our meters and stuff. So you'll see it soon. It's very cold here in Texas this week.